you've heard it from other content creators, but I'm going to say the same goddamn thing. I'm going to ask the same goddamn question. Where are all the conservative content creators? Where's Mama Tot? Where's that bucket of piss, Officer Udy? And that is the correct and politest way to refer to Officer Udy. Bucket of piss. Where are these motherfuckers? These are the same people that spread lies on social media when Biden was in office, saying that the federal government wasn't doing anything to help the people of North Carolina after that state was ravaged by an extraordinarily deadly hurricane. All they're doing is giving them $750. How come you're not outraged? Well, now we've had a rash of tornadoes rip through red and blue states alike, killing over 30 people, the most of which in the predominantly red state of Kentucky. And not only is the federal government not doing anything, Donald Trump hasn't even fucking mentioned these storms yet. Where's FEMA? St. Louis mayor pleads for help from federal government after fatal tornado. Missouri officials are calling on the federal government for help after a tornado tore through St. Louis last week, killing 5 people and damaging thousands of structures throughout the region. 2 other people were killed in Scott County in southeastern Missouri. We need partners at the national level, at the federal level, to step up and help. And this is not just true for St. Louis, City Mayor Cara Spencer told MSNBC on Monday. Cities across the nation, when they're experiencing disasters such as this is what the federal government is for. Spencer said she is pleading with the Federal Emergency Management Agency for help. FEMA has not been on the ground, she added. We do not have confirmed assistance from FEMA at this point. Missouri Governor Mike Kehoe made a similar plea. Local first responders, officials, businesses, and volunteer groups are working around the clock to recover, but the task before us is tremendously large and recovery will not be easy, Kehoe said in a Monday press release. A federal emergency declaration will provide an immediate infusion of needed funds, while the joint preliminary damage assessment will allow the normal federal major disaster declaration process to move forward. The governor said such assistance could immediately unlock $5 million in federal funding. After a thorough assessment, FEMA will approve a disaster declaration request if the assessment shows the event's damage exceeds the state, local governments, and voluntary organizations' capacity to respond. Just like all declaration requests, this decision is based on policy, not politics, a FEMA spokesperson told The Independent. FEMA is working with state and local officials to conduct preliminary damage assessments in the areas impacted by the recent tornadoes and severe weather, the spokesperson added. Once completed, the collected information will be turned to the states for evaluation for the governor's consideration to submit or not for a request for disaster declaration. I don't know. Sounds like the governor's already doing that. Disaster-struck states waiting for weeks for Trump's sign-off on FEMA aid. Public officials have started pleading with the Trump administration for help in recovering from deadly disasters as President Donald Trump triggers frustration in states struck by tornadoes, floods, and storms by taking no action on requests for aid. We're at a standstill and waiting on a declaration from FEMA, says Royce McKee, Emergency Management Director in Walthall County, Mississippi, which was hit by tornadoes in mid-March. I'm disappointed, especially for the people that lost their houses, McKee said. Trump himself assailed FEMA in January for being very slow. The frustration over Trump's handling of disasters is the latest upheaval involving FEMA. Trump recently canceled 2 FEMA grant programs that gave states billions of dollars a year to pay for protective measures against disasters. At a congressional hearing on Tuesday, Missouri Senator Josh Hawley, a Republican, pleaded with the Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem to push Trump to approve 3 disaster requests that Missouri Governor Mike Kehoe, a Republican, had sent to Trump beginning April 2nd. Sarah Huckabee Sanders is begging Trump for help for Arkansas. Kentucky's not seeing any help out of the Trump administration for the tornadoes that ripped through their state. So here we have an administration actually not doing anything, not even sending FEMA in, not doing jack shit, sitting on requests for disaster declarations for weeks, in a couple of cases, in a couple of months. Biden had disaster declarations declared before the hurricanes arrived, had FEMA on the ground before the hurricanes arrived, released as much money as he was legally allowed to, and then had to wait for Congress to approve more funds. And these fucking people like Udy and Mama Tot said, Joe Biden's not doing anything. The federal government's not doing shit for these people. These people are suffering. When that was not true. Now Trump is in office. He's literally not doing anything, and they're silent. Fucking hypocrites.